like Syracuse sets the precedent in many ways.
Syracuse University students are protesting yet again. Find out how the city is handling the on-campus chaos.
And Downtown Dining Week kicked off on Monday, and 8 restaurants are participating for the first time. Stay here to learn why owners should want to get involved.
And with a winter storm watch in effect tonight, find out how much snow CNY could see. NCC News starts right now.
Good afternoon and welcome into our NCC News studio. I'm Jason Herman.
And I'm Josh Horowitz. We're going live to our meteorologist Connor White as a winter storm warning is in effect tonight. Connor, what can we expect this evening?
Right, guys, well, as you may be able to see, there's no snowfall just yet, but we're expected to see a lot of snow tonight. According to the National Weather Service, we could see between 5 to 10 inches in certain parts of central New York, with some parts getting between 1 and 2 inches an hour. Taking a look at a map right here, you'll see that the worst affected area is set to be just north of Syracuse, with varying degrees of different kinds of snowfall as we head south. Now, if we look at current temperatures outside, you'll see that we have, it's setting the stage for the kind of snow that we're seeing. We have a temperature of 27 degrees, and that's only going to get lower throughout the night, which will allow that kind of snowfall to come in. We'll circle back to see how much snow we're going to be getting. For now, back to you guys.
So much, Connor, and with the heavy story.
The snow is piling up, but the city can't keep up with the cost. The budget does not fulfill the needs that the harsh central New York winter demands, and the whole city was approved to replace 2 outdated snowplows. The rest of the snowplow fleet still requires repairs, but what Syracuse lacks in machinery, they also lack in mechanics. Fewer mechanics means fewer working plows, which means extra work for the functional plows, which leads to additional repairs. The winter weather won't stop, and neither will the workers. And despite Syracuse doing what they can, Counselor at Large Khalid Bey understands the severity of budget deficiency.
Our budget adequate to cover what may be the need for snow removal? Absolutely not. Winter budget for plows, we would probably need double the amount of plows to have the kind of impact that constituents want us to have.
The SU administration has been under fire for their handling of recent incidents of racial bias on campus, and tensions are starting to boil over. Our Josh Schaefer is live outside Kraus-Heinz Hall with some updates on the protests that are impacting the city of Syracuse. Josh, what's the latest on the conflict?
Thanks, Josh. Chancellor Kent Syverud just rescinded a suspension of 30 students that are currently occupying Kraus-Heinz Hall, but that hasn't changed much with the Not Again SU movement. What has changed is the community starting to take notice. I spoke with a woman in Liverpool today who called in sick to work because she wanted to come check out what's going on here at SU.
It shows people that it's okay to get away with racist acts, since Syracuse University is such a big place. If they're okay with it, I guess it's okay if we're okay. And in many ways, I think because there are other smaller universities and colleges in the area, like Syracuse sets the precedent in many ways.
While McDermott and other members of the Syracuse community gather around Kraus-Heinz Hall, a public relations professor at her alma mater, Lemoyne College, says that the city of Syracuse has avoided any disastrous publicity.
You run the risk of some type of stigmatizing based on what's happening there. But really what it comes down to is the transparency that needs to be shared, that the university seems to be doing a solid job with, as well as the students.
Reed said that as long as the protests remain peaceful, the city will likely stay out of the conflict. But if the problem negatively impacts Syracuse University admissions, city businesses may pay the price. For the folks standing outside Kraus-Heinz Hall, their concern is the well-being of the protesters and sending peaceful vibes all around. Not much has changed here at Kraus-Heinz since the rescinding of the suspension, but we'll keep an eye on that and the Not Again SU movement and sit-in moving forward. Back to you guys up in the studio.
Governor Cuomo announced earlier this afternoon a $44 million recreation and sporting complex will be built in downtown Utica. The groundbreaking Nexus Center will be used for ice hockey and field sports and hosts 24 hockey and lacrosse tournaments a year. The complex is expected to attract 320,000 visitors yearly, which could lead to $26 million in revenue.
Jason, you and I are both from California, believe it or not. Safe to say we spent a lot of time at Syracuse Hancock Airport.
That's for sure. I know that airport like the back of my hand, but as of today, things are going to be different, and you might even want to leave for your flight earlier than usual. The airport says both the parking garage and open lot are completely full due to winter break. Signs will direct airport goers to overflow parking spots, and authorities do advise to allow for extra time to find a spot. For those picking up arriving passengers, no need to try to find a parking spot. Drivers can wait in their car in the cell phone lots for free.
U.S. senators are taking action to address man-made chemicals that are affecting many of the Finger Lakes. New York Senator Schumer and Senator Gillibrand say the Environmental Protection Agency has not done enough in efforts to decontaminate these lakes. The New York senators were 2 of 30 lawmakers to sign a letter to the EPA asking for updates on a plan announced last February to clean up bodies of water, including Seneca Lake. The senators are questioning the process of the migration plan from a year ago. Gillibrand says the agency needs a bigger sense of urgency to start cleaning up lakes around the state and the country. Seneca Lake has long been suffering from substances linked to firefighting foam from the former Seneca Army Depot. Villages nearby rely on the lake for drinking water, while the substances cause health risks, including forms of cancer. Presidential candidates Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren were among the senators to sign the letter.
Want to help the Westcott community's ecosystem? There's an app for that. SUNY ESF is asking for participants to take photos of plants and animals in their own backyards for their study on diversity of species.
I believe that in order to get people involved and actually care about the environment, you want to give them something to appreciate. And if we can get people outside and seeing the species that exist and seeing how they interact with other species, seeing the effects that we have on these species, we can become more self-aware on the effects that we have.
It's free on the App Store for iPhones and the Play Store for Androids. Prizes will be awarded to participants who submit the most photos until the end of April.
2 upstate New York towns are getting some media attention from none other than Oprah Winfrey. Our reporter Peyton May has the breakdown of her top places to visit. Peyton?
What Oprah says goes, and she's ranked 2 of our nearby towns as must-visit places in her magazine. Let's take a look at the map. Oprah's #1 pick was none other than Skinny Atlas, which is only a quick drive away. Another town mentioned on the list was Corning. Let's look at some of the scenic views that Skinny Atlas is known for. Oprah praised the beautiful lake and water activities Skinny Atlas has to offer, along with the quaint shopping town. Back at the map, a little further down, is Corning. A main attraction you could visit is the Corning Museum of Glass, where you can learn more about glassmaking. In the Finger Lakes wine country, you can explore vineyards and do tastings. The Rockwell Museum is an art hub, and the Gafford District is the perfect place to spend your cash. Maybe we'll see Oprah walking around this area soon.
8 new restaurants have joined downtown Syracuse's annual dining weeks as the tradition enters its 16th year. This brings the total number of participants to 45 as the downtown dining weeks present an opportunity for the public to save some dough on the dishes they love. Among the new additions are Jailhouse Rock Cafe and PMA Foods, as the ownership of both restaurants hope for a boom in their business.
I feel like most people from the building are our customers in the immediate vicinity. But I would expect a little bit of a bump. It's on all the promotions and all the other restaurants as well. Our name's on there, so.
Dining week's been cool, so we got offered to do it. And I was like, yeah, might as well. Gets people in here, lets them try out what we're doing, and lets us grow.
Dining Weeks 2020 represent major growth from the 1-week 17-restaurant Dining Week debut back in 2005, as restaurants try and persuade the public to brave the cold and purchase their plates.
The events continue tomorrow with an SU women's basketball game, as well as the showing of Romeo and Juliet at the Syracuse stage at 8 p.m.
And even with all these dining events available in Syracuse this week, many of us will still be cooking at home. Our reporter Connor White spoke to one woman in Cicero who has made it her mission to help you produce restaurant quality meals from your own kitchen.
If you're anything like me, cooking can come across as a bit of a chore, and maybe even a difficult one at that. It's one of the reasons Michelle Belso started Let's Cook Syracuse.
It's a passion for showing people how cooking can be fun and enjoyable.
Though Michelle never went to culinary school, she began the company 2.5 years ago because of her passion for cooking.
Let's Cook Syracuse means everything to me because it is a passion. It's a passion for food, good ingredients.
The course is designed to let absolutely anyone get involved, from self-proclaimed experts to people who have no idea what they're doing, like me.
Do you like massage it at all?
You know what? I am not the right person to ask. I have no idea.
Yours look good.
The guy next to me is another self-described novice. Mike Cole came here with his wife as part of Valentine's Day weekend. He said he wanted to try something different and ended up leaving with a new set of skills. I asked him if he feels confident enough to give it a go at home.
Strangely, yes. So again, I'm not a good cook. I can do breakfast, I can do barbecue, but I think I could do that with my wife's help.
Michelle doesn't just want her students to leave with new skills, but new friends as well.
I like bringing people together. It's having a party in the kitchen every night. And by the end of the night, you've taken a whole group of strangers and turned them into friends.
Friends that leave satisfied with full stomachs and a new dish to add to their dinner roster. In Cicero, New York, I'm Connor White.
If you're interested in the class, you can find upcoming events on the Facebook page for Let's Cook Syracuse. Coming up, the Democratic candidates for president hit the stand in Las Vegas tonight. Who has the most to prove with the Nevada caucuses this Saturday?
President Trump either pardoned or commuted 11 people yesterday. Stick around to find out who they are and why Trump made the call to release them.
Tonight's Democratic presidential debate in Las Vegas is going to be a key event in the days leading up to the Nevada caucuses. And for a number of reasons, this debate could prove to be one of the most important in the race so far. Bernie Sanders, fresh off a win in the New Hampshire primary last week, is looking to build momentum in this debate, as his lead recently increased to a 12-point lead over hard-charging Michael Bloomberg. However, he will now have to inhabit the role of the frontrunner, a position that has been targeted heavily on the debate stage up to this point. And some of the people that President Trump pardoned yesterday are being released from prison, including former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich, who served 8 years of a 14-year sentence for corruption. Blago, as he is sometimes called, was arrested for trying to auction off Obama's vacant Senate seat in 2011. Trump also pardoned former San Francisco 49ers owner Eddie DiBartolo Jr., who attempted to bribe his way into a riverboat gambling license in Louisiana back in 1998. Jim Brown commented on the White House steps about DiBartolo Jr.
Eddie DiBartolo is a great man. I'm here to support him and not have any fear.
Also pardoned yesterday were former New York City Police Commissioner Bernard Kerik and Michael Milken, the billionaire junk bond king who served as the inspiration for Gordon Gekko in the movie Walls.
Announced today that the number of new cases of coronavirus are declining. The outbreak has been raging across the world for several weeks as thousands have died. Many health experts are skeptical of China's outlook, urging the global population to remain vigilant of the potential threats. The CDC released a video today explaining what people need to know about the coronavirus.
The important thing for people in the United States to understand is that their immediate risk for novel coronavirus is low. We would suggest that they stay informed, but also that they take everyday usual precautions. They should cover their cough, wash their hands, and stay home when they're sick.
While the CDC is reminding everyone stateside that their risk remains low for now, that can all change as disease remains just as infectious, even as the number of cases declines.
Coming up, we told you already that snow is on the way.
Find out where it's coming from and how to map out the rest of your week next.
Welcome back to NCC News. Now, this was the scene at Walnut Park earlier today. We didn't see much snow at around noon, but that's all set to change later tonight. If we look at current conditions, we are set for lake effect snow coming in from the west. Now, you can see that. How about that weekend?
Oh, it looks really good, although it takes a Syracuse person to say that 40 degrees and sunny is good for the weekend, right?
Well, it's going to feel like summer compared to this past week, right?
Absolutely.
Not the summer Josh and I are used to.
No, never.
Fair enough.
And lucky for the men's basketball team, they're out in Louisville tonight, so they're escaping the cold, and that's coming up more on the basketball team and in the sports segment next. Andrew Rubino talks to a former Syracuse football player whose career was forcibly cut short.
Good evening, I'm Andrew Rubino with NCC Sports. We start with former Syracuse University football offensive lineman Sam Heckel, who announced a few weeks ago that multiple injuries will prevent him from returning to the team next season. Heckel explained the reason for his decision and his future plans beyond the game in an exclusive interview with NCC News. Anything specific about Tebow maybe you guys would want to see from him baseball-wise, maybe on the Dodgers at one point, or no?
How about just get him on the diamond? I mean, he's been on spring training for 4 or 5 years. Been with
minor leagues for a while.
Is he going to get on the team?
I don't know. I don't have that insight. All I know is he's changing his numbers.
And I got to ask you, does Syracuse have any chance to pull up the upset tonight?
Not tonight. I think Jordan Nwora is too good of a player. So that's what's coming up tonight, though, with Syracuse basketball.
He's just completely unstoppable. Coming up after the break, how a nurse in the natal intensive care unit found family business.
Josh, you've ever run into an old friend just coincidentally you haven't seen in years? I know you have, but check this out. What a story here. A New Jersey nurse and her former patient had a reunion. David Caldwell's newborn son was treated by nurse Lisa McGowan at the hospital, but years earlier, McGowan actually treated the new father 30 years ago when Caldwell himself was a newborn patient. Talk about that for a reunion. What a cute story.
What a touching way to end the newscast today. Really warms my heart up on a brutal Central New York day like this one.
Yeah, right you are, Josh. And you and I both looking forward to getting out of Syracuse soon. It's too cold for my liking.
Ooh, yeah, hard pass on the snow.
And that's all we got here in the NCC News studio. I'm Jason Herman, Josh Horowitz. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week.